If you're watching this video, you probably already know that Mazda is going to unveil the CX-70 on January 30th at 11 a.m. What I'm going to do is quickly go over what we can expect for this new vehicle in the Mazda lineup. So the first is going to be a carryover of powertrains. Obviously, you're going to get the eSkyActiv G 3.3 liter turbocharged inline-six. As we know, Mazda already has two tunes on this engine, the first being a 280 horsepower and 332 pound-feet of torque, with regular fuel that can achieve the estimated 24 mpg, 28 highway, and 25 combined. The second tune is a little more expensive and impressive, with 340 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque when using 93 octane. This gets around the same fuel economy. You can subtract one on the city side. Either way, both of these engines are going to be equipped with a mild hybrid system. The second option is a plug-in hybrid option that makes 323 horsepower and 369 pound-feet of torque. This uses Mazda's 2.5 liter four-cylinder engine with a tuned air tank to improve torque, and there's also paired with a 17.8 kilowatt hour battery. Based on the CX-90, we can expect around 26 miles of range. Because it's going to be a little smaller, at least I hope so, it's going to be probably around 27, 28. All CX-9 powertrains are going to be compared with an 8-speed automatic transmission, and all-wheel drive, iActive all-wheel drive will be standard across the board. For suspension, I'd expect a double wishbone at the front and a multi-link independent in the rear. The CX-90 can tow up to 5,000 pounds when you get the towing package, so I would expect the CX-70 to do the same here. Moving on to the dimensions and the designs, looking at forum posts and Reddits, there are a few people that claim that they work in the dealership saying that the CX-70 is basically a CX-90 without the third row. Some are even saying that it may have the exact same length as the CX-90. This wouldn't be ideal if they're trying to market the CX-70 as a sportier vehicle, although the trunk space would be nice, but at that point, wouldn't it be wiser to buy the CX-90 and just use the third row when you need it, even if you don't need the third row on a day-to-day basis? Instead of this, I think it will follow more in the stead of the Volkswagen Atlas and Atlas Cross Sport and the Pilot and the Passport. These vehicles are basically the same length in terms of the wheelbase, but the overall length is a little bit shorter for the Cross Sport and the Passport. I think the same thing will apply to the CX-70, with it having the same wheelbase as the CX-90, with a little bit of a nip and tuck in the rear to reduce the length. I think the CX-70 will need this sort of liposuction because the rear is massive. Design-wise, I think it'll follow the same trend of the Atlas family and the Passport Pilot, and it'll share a very similar front fascia and similar side profile, but once you get to that C-pillar, that's when the changes will start to happen to the rear. If you look at the lengths of the Atlas family and the Passport Pilot, we see that there's about 5 to 6 inches of difference separating the two. The CX-90 is about 200 inches long, so the CX-70 could be around 194 or 195 inches long if we assume Mazda is following this trend. This would make it by far the largest in its class because most of its competitors are about 184 to 189 inches of length. So I could be wrong, completely wrong here. It's just a little bit of speculation we're doing here. I've seen rumors that it's supposed to look a little more sporty, so I'd expect a trim with gloss black around the vehicle as they do in the CX-60 line over in Europe. Interior-wise, I'm not expecting much, and I don't mean that in a bad way. I basically expect it to be a copy and paste of the CX-90, so I expect some premium touches like Nappa leather options and wood trims on higher trim levels, the leatherette material along the dash. Higher trims, like the highest trims, will have the Kakanui stitching running through the dash. For your infotainment system, I expect a 12.3-inch display. A 10.25-inch will likely be standard, similar to the CX-50. And then you're probably going to have a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster, and a 7-inch TFT display will be standard as well. You'll also get a bunch of different luxury higher tier options such as a heads-up display, 12-speaker Bose audio, digital rear view camera, 360 camera, panoramic moonroof, heated and ventilated seats, just to name a few of the things that this vehicle can have. Pricing, I'd expect it to start a couple of grand cheaper than the CX-90, so about $37,000 to $38,000 for the base 280 horsepower 3.3 liter turbocharged inline-six, and likely end around $57,000 to $58,000 for the top of the line 340 horsepower version. The plug-in could start around $47,000 to $48,000 and around $54,000 to $55,000. So I'm thinking it'll be around a $2,000 discount to get to the CX-70 over the CX-90. In conclusion, the CX-70 should be an interesting vehicle for the lineup, but in general, we should know what to expect here because we should be seeing a lot of what the CX-90 offered carried over to here. But tell me what you think down below in the comments section, and which is right below the like button, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.